I don't have a backup plan. I don't have anything else I'm ever going to do. But like you don't want to lose the spark of like, I get to play music with my friends and travel the world doing it.
What's up, everybody? We're back. So, Sheyna, I'm going to give you a little insight. I talked about this on an episode a couple weeks ago. I start every episode the exact same way. And what I just said is how I start. And now it's like my wife literally makes fun of me for it. She's like, you say the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I know, but now I know it's a thing. So now I'm just going to make it a thing. But Sheyna Gee, correct? G. Is it G?
Yep.
You literally said it earlier and I was like, okay. Because I was like, I'm going to pronounce her last name right. No, I didn't. But Sheyna Gee, welcome to Deepish.
Thank you for having me.
Sheyna, everyone who listens, Sheyna Gee is my guest today. That's the weirdest way I've ever introduced a guest in my life, so I'm sorry. But thank you.
There's got to be one weird one.
Listen, first of all, thank you so much for coming to sit down. So I was thinking earlier, so I plan a lot for episodes, but I don't script episodes because I want to just see where we go. And I have a concept. I was like, here's some bullet points I want to get to. I was thinking about where I wanted to start with you. So let's start here. So you're born and raised in LA. And then you moved to Nashville 10 years ago.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question then to start with. Was music always the end goal for you?
Yes. I started playing guitar when I was 5, and I've only ever had a real job for 2 years. I worked at a Chili's right out of high school.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yes.
Chili's still slaps.
It slaps so hard. Chili's, if you're out there, we need to partner.
Dead ass.
But like,
I love Chili's.
A triple dipper just hits every time.
Okay, you know they got rid of their skillet queso.
They did, but it came back because people boycotted it. They were like,
it would be like Outback.
Without a bloomin' onion.
Without a bloomin' onion in their cheese fries.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry. When you said Chili's, I just got so excited.
Oh, it's exciting. I'm so glad they're having like a like social moment right now. It's like there's hats, there's like memes. We still love a Presidente margarita. But that was the only time I ever and that was just because when I turned 18, I moved out of my parents' house and needed to do something, and Chili's was the thing. And so I worked at Chili's for 2 years before I got fired for calling someone a bitch. And my boss said I could keep my job if I apologized. And I said no, because she was being a bitch. And so that was the last time I've ever worked for anybody. And I just made music the only option. There is no backup plan.
That is unbelievable. So you were like 18, 19 at the time? When you worked?
Yeah, I was 18 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, were you also still pursuing music on the side? It was just like you had to have income.
I had to have income. And I quickly replaced that income while I was working at Chili's. I was hosting open mic nights around town and like writers' nights and stuff like that. So I was making a couple $100 here and there.
Okay.
And then added like Taco Tuesday to Tuesdays after and whatever. And so I'd make like $200 a gig playing in the Inland Empire, like right outside of LA.
Okay.
And I'd play like private parties in LA. And I joined a corporate band where the guy paid really well and met some like super talented musicians from his band. And then I ended up poaching them for my own band. And
no way.
The LA music scene was so different back then, for country at least. Mm-hmm. Now there's like a booming country scene out there. But back in the day, all the people that played country, we all knew each other. So everyone kind of like supported each other and played the same shows. And
well, that's what I was going to ask. Like at that time, were you living in, because like the music scene in LA, I feel like, now granted, I want to specify or clarify or preface, whatever the right word to say there is. I am not like, I am in the music world adjacent, just because one, I tend to interview a lot of artists. I mean, but we live in Nashville, so it's the nature of the beast. And I have a lot of friends in it. But I feel like, especially, 10, 15 years ago when you were in LA, that it's far more like pop, hip hop, non-country genre music. So that's what it's like. But you were still doing country music.
Yeah.
Was your focus while you're there?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was my own music was country.
Okay.
Through high school and stuff like that, I played rock. And then when
I could see that.
yeah, that's what everyone says, I look like a rock artist, but it's just
Kind of
I grew
badass.
up in the Southern California punk scene.
The punk
And
scene was different
it
when we were
was
coming up too.
so cool. Like Social Distortion is still one of my favorite bands of all time, and I think that's why I love like harmonies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I grew up in that scene after high school, started playing acoustic more, and people just started calling me country, so I went country. But I was also
Okay.
on a writing team for a hip hop artist named Shan, and like that was like some of
Okay.
my first experiences with co-writing and being on like a writing team. And I
Mhm.
sang demos at Conway Studios in LA, which is like where Dr. Luke was based. And I was in that, like working in that studio at the time of like all the Kesha stuff and like the last Britney Spears record and all of that
No
stuff,
way.
singing demos for the owner, Buddy Brendo, I think was his last name.
Okay.
And it was just it was a very eclectic time
Yeah, for
to
sure.
be in my early 20s in LA. Just kind of trying everything and just
Mhm.
seeing what stuck and still just trying to pursue my country music at the same time, you know?
What was it like to be in that melting pot of music? So I mean, you mentioned hip hop, you mentioned two of the biggest female pop artists, of their time, while also being around that writing scene especially in hip hop, but while country, I don't feel like is actually that different, but is very different especially at the same point in time. So like what was that like for you to be in the midst of that while also having a different musical passion? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think good music is good music.
Mhm.
And genre, if you write a good song, it's genreless and it just depends how it's produced. So
That's a great point.
yeah,
I don't know
so
that
a
I've ever
good
thought about
song
that.
is a good song,
Yep.
no matter what. And it should be able to be pretty much anything if it's really good, you
Mm.
know? So I'm glad that I was raised with tons of different music. Obviously, like
Mhm.
there's something to be said about being a country purist and being raised in Texas and only listening to the best country artists of all time your whole life and being
Mhm.
influenced that way. That's not my journey, but everybody has
Yeah.
a different journey. My journey was I've loved every kind of music forever. And you can kind of hear it in my music that there's kind of like little pieces of everything in there. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's still just, I always say real ass country.
That's so that's such I really don't know that I've ever heard someone say that of a good song is a good song, and it just depends on how it's produced.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, just think of like Lips of an Angel. It
Yeah.
came out, obviously Hinder was the huge hit, but it was on the radio as a country song at the same time because the songwriters had promised it to both artists. And so they both cut it and it both came out at the same time and it was both huge hits. But it was a way
Wow.
bigger hit with the Hinder one. So we all think of like the Hinder one, but they were on the radio at the same time. And, you know,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Holy shit. God, that's okay. There's so many different ways we can go from that. Okay, so let's go back though for a second. So you start playing, you pick up guitar at 5. Did you grow up in a musical family, or was it just like you got a guitar because you liked music?
So my parents got divorced when I was 5,
Okay.
and my mom didn't want us to be those kids that like just went to therapy and like,
Yeah.
you know, wallowed in it and wanted us to all have hobbies. My brother's 7 years older than me,
Okay.
and he was already a drummer
Okay.
in a band. But he also played soccer and did, you know,
Yeah.
sports stuff too.
Yep.
So there was a guitar that was just like hanging around my mom's house. My mom tried to get me into sports. I of course like softball's a girly sport, you know, whatever. That's the first thing that she tried with me, and I hit the ball and ran and got it. And that's when she knew I was not going to be an athlete and let me
That's awesome.
take guitar lessons
Okay.
and was like, okay, maybe you're more of an artsy girly,
Yeah.
which I am. I'm like a typical artist. I'm a middle child. I'm sensitive. My parents are divorced. I have daddy issues. Like there's all the things, but it's all like stuff to write about, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
So-
Absolutely. So when your parents got divorced, did you maintain any relationship with your dad at that time or at any point in your childhood?
So at first, my dad left and called one day and said, I can't be your dad anymore. And then about 2 years later, came back and wanted to be in our lives. So he got the whole every other weekend thing.
Okay.
Until like from probably like 8 to 13.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see him most every other weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And he took us camping and we did some of the like cool
Mm-hmm.
like kid stuff. And then at 13, he closed fist punched me in the nose. I took the phone into the bathroom and told him I was calling the police, but I just called my mom to come pick me up, and I did not see him again until I was an adult.
Oh my God.
So
Well, first of all, I'm sorry. Like that.
don't be.
No, what?
Everyone has a
Yeah,
journey. It's not,
100%. But that's
it's,
God.
I think that it all forms you,
Yeah.
at a certain point. And
Yeah.
my sister tried to have a relationship with him as an adult, and he sends in every other birthday text every once in a while, and
Sure.
that's that.
Sure. What's it been like for you though, as an adult, to process that emotion of your dad being there, being gone, coming back, things end very horribly, and he's no longer in your life anymore. What was that like to hit? Because I feel like in the moment when you're a teenager, now granted, my parents are together. My mom's parents are divorced. It's like I've been my wife's parents are divorced. So it's like I've seen it. I've watched it. I've had, all that. But like I personally haven't experienced it. But I feel like once when you're in the midst of that as a teenager, you don't have the emotional maturity to. And although women are far more emotionally mature than men are, so like I don't want to speak for you.
That's not what my exes would say about me, but yeah.
It's just the realities. Like, and any dude who can't acknowledge that women 9 out of 10 times are more mature than men, they're. Anyways, I digress.
I luckily had a really amazing supportive mom.
Okay.
And so who always told me like you can be whatever you want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and don't let like your story stop you from the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always been really supported in that aspect. My grandparents were very involved, and
Okay.
my brother was 7 years older than me, so it was kind of like having a different like kind of male role model
Yeah.
in my life. And so I had luckily like strong family relationships other than my dad. My mom just didn't have a very good picker, but I'm glad that she picked a hot guy, because at least and a cool last name. So at least I got his genes in his last name,
I mean, I'm not laughing at that is just an incredible, like, that's just such an awesome perspective to have about it. But so it's like as an adult though, you hit that point where it's like you're able to, I think frame probably is a really good way to put it, of that's like, you know what? Yeah, it's shitty. It really is. And like you would never pick that journey. However, it is your journey and it is part of your story. And so I can be grateful for a couple things, if it is only a couple of things. But so what was your relationship like with your older brother then, as and your grandfather, the two male figures that you had to look up to?
My grandpa was amazing. He taught me how to drive,
Mhm.
played frisbee with me in the front yard all the time, like helped us with our homework because he was an engineer, and like awesome. And my brother was a typical high school boy when we were growing up,
Okay.
and mad at my parents for getting divorced because they got divorced when he was 14. So he was a
Okay.
little older. But
For
then
sure.
as I came into my late teens, he was in a really popular emo band at the time, and they were touring Brazil and on MTV and like whatever. And so he was a good role
What
model for
band was he
me.
in?
It was called Love Hate Hero.
No way.
And so they toured with like Escape the Fate and like Bleeding Through and Scary Kids Scaring Kids and all of that kind of stuff. And they got to travel the world on music. And so I had a really
That's
good
so
example
cool.
of like this can be a thing. And
Yeah.
when his band broke up, when they were in their 20s and just kind of felt like they had reached their
Mhm.
pinnacle and kind of started going, some of the people started having families and all that,
Mhm.
whatever. He actually joined my band. And so it was so cool to have like, while we were siblings and definitely got into like little sibling
For
tiffs,
sure.
it was very cool to have my brother be like a guiding light in my
Yeah.
like career. And I had just a great group of guys when I lived in California that were so supportive of
Mhm.
my original music and played shows for free and did the thing that like
Yeah.
really helped me learn how to be a band leader and how to do the thing. And so I've just had great experiences with all of that growing up.
Do you think and then you have a sister as well,
I
correct?
have a younger sister. Yeah.
Younger? Okay. So she was born before your parents got divorced? Is that
She was 3 when my
Okay.
parents got divorced.
Okay. So do you feel like what you all went through as siblings, going through your parents being divorced, and then, the stuff with your dad, do you feel like it helped, like, bonded you all closer, especially the older you got?
Well, I'm the middle child, so I'm very close with both of them.
Mhm.
They are 10 years apart, so they're not
Okay.
quite as close as but now that we're all adults,
Yep.
like, and they have kids, so
Yep.
they relate on that level.
Mhm.
But yeah, growing up, like, I was very close with my brother, obviously, when I was later in my teens and,
Mhm.
the age gap didn't feel so big, and, like, me and my sister were only 2.5 years apart. So
Mhm.
we were in elementary school together and then
Yep.
in high school together, and we had the same friend group in high school.
Okay.
So it was very cool to have
Yep.
that. And like me and my sister are still, I talk to her every other day.
That's awesome.
And like I talk to my mom every day pretty
Yeah.
much. Like, which I know some people that's too much, but I love my
It's
family.
yeah, like, I'm the same way. It's like, I mean, I talk to one or both of my parents, if not every day, every other,
Yep.
at least.
Yeah.
It's like, and, like, I don't talk to I mean, I talk to my siblings a lot. We don't talk every day necessarily, but it's like I am close to
Yeah.
there's 3 of us. So there's 4 of us. Let me rephrase that. There's 4 of us. The youngest is adopted. I'm the middle of the oldest 3. And so I'm the problem child.
But yeah.
It's like
Oh,
I
I was
just
bad. I got kicked out of a high school and I whatever, but I always managed to get really good grades. So,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
I was salutatorian of my high school class. That no, we don't even talk about how big my high school
I was
class.
gonna say how many people are in it?
There's 19, I
I
think.
graduated with a class of 1,000.
Okay. I don't
So
know how
there
to
was about 4,000
Jen, I don't
people
know
in
how
my
to
high
tell you
school.
this any other way than the way it's gonna come out. Hurricane, West Virginia is not LA.
That's yeah. Yeah.
My wife gives me so much credit for this. She's like, "It doesn't count that you were salutatorian. There was 4 people in your whole high school." It's like, just as effectively the same thing as being
You still
homeschooled
get
as
to
you
put
were
it on the
saying.
resume.
But yeah, I
You still
don't
get
I
it.
I still have a sash that says salutatorian on it.
Yep.
So you know what? It counts.
It counts.
But so no, it is all that to say, to go back to like what you're saying with your siblings and the relationship you have with both of them, and your mom and the relationship you have with her as an adult. There is nothing to me, I think, and I will say is like not everyone has this perspective, because I think especially in our generation, everyone wants to say they have parent trauma.
Everybody. And that is what like
Everyone does.
that's why I'm so positive about it
Yeah.
because I feel like there's too many people out there blaming their
Mhm.
parents for their problems and it's like I truly believe everybody's doing life for the first time. And
Same.
so
Yep.
people are going to make mistakes.
Yep.
People are going to do things. At a certain point, you are only punishing yourself.
Yep.
You are not punishing your parents.
Yep.
It's after you're 18, you're not their problem anymore.
Mhm.
And so it's like, it's great if you have that, like, hey, my parents helped me put a down payment on my house, but
For
don't
sure.
be bitter if you didn't get that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're an adult now. Go figure it
Yeah.
out. Like, and go deal with your mental problem, like your
Yep.
things that you don't blame it. If you just sit there and wallow and blame it on somebody else, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You're just going to be running in circles, blaming other people for your problems. And it's like
100%.
eventually you're going to wake up and you're the only person that's there with the problem. So deal with it.
Yeah, well, and I mean what you said, and I have said this on this podcast before, and I fully agree with you. Everyone is living life for the first time. And that is, and I don't mean to take away in any regards people that have legitimate trauma from their parents.
Yes.
Their parents were bad. They, whether emotionally, physically, mentally, like they didn't have great parents.
Yeah.
However, as a parent now, the perspective that changes when you realize like, I'm doing this shit for the first time the same way that my parents were. And what, even if it's like, so yeah, we have a second kid now. So yeah, I've had a newborn before. I've had a toddler before, but I've never had 2 before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you never had that one. You don't know what their
Correct.
personality is going to be or
And
what
you-
they're,
And that is where I think the older you get, the more that perspective comes into play, where it's like you realize that everyone is experiencing their life for the first time. Everyone is living that instance of their life for the first time. So that's where I think when you become an adult, the relationship you can develop with your parents to where you can have that friendship with them that people say you're not supposed to have. It's like, I don't agree with that. I'm like, yeah, like I want my kid to think I'm his best friend when he's 8. Why should that is a parenting thing to me that makes no sense, that I hate, that is like, your kids should fear you and respect you. It's like, yeah, I want my son to respect me, but I'd rather him respect me because he thinks I'm his best friend and he wants to be around me than he's scared out of his mind that I'm
Yes.
gonna, berate him every time he turns around.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm glad that the newer generation of parenting
Mhm.
is a little softer. Like,
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll get on his ass.
yeah,
Okay,
but
here's a this. I don't think I've told this story in this podcast before. And now, is this gonna like indict me as a bad parent? Maybe so, but I don't care. I'm gonna tell it anyways. So he is really into sports right now. He's 8, and he also just wants to be around me all the time, which I'm cool with. But the downside of that is he is around me and all of my friends and how we talk and what we do all of the time, and has been since he was 2. So we're outside a couple weeks ago playing basketball, and he comes up with this shooting game. I grew up playing basketball. He's not beating me. He's just not going to beat me, and he knows that he's not going to beat me. He has to like get
till
lucky
one day he does.
until one day he does, and I might be 65 by the time he does. He's going to also be an adult before he beats me in basketball. Golf may be a different story, but so we're outside, and me and my wife's at work, so my baby's sitting in the stroller, and we're shooting. And he's got a shot to tie it or something, and he misses. And he's like, "Cool, all right, let me get one more shot." I was like, "All right, dude, you have one more chance." He misses. Fuck. And I turned and looked at him and I said, "What'd you say?" And he looks at me and goes, "Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry. Dad, I'm sorry." I looked at him. I was like, "Bud, you're not in trouble. But if I hear you say it again, you're gonna be in trouble." And we come inside. And I turn around away from him because I'm pushing the baby and the stroller back up into the house. I start dying laughing. I laughed
Hearing little kids
so
cuss
hard.
is so
I think it's
funny.
hilarious.
Yes.
I genuinely, I think it's the funniest thing in the world. He's old enough though that it's not quite as funny, but I still lost my
You're like,
mind. I
just don't
laughed
do
so
that
hard.
at school.
Yeah, well, no,
Don't
the
let
ama
other people know that I
okay,
talk
no,
like that at
the
home.
amount of things that he has said, like jokes he said, or things that like aren't bad, but I'm also like, dude, please, for love of God, do not go to your Christian school and say
Yes.
that, because like if the last thing I need is your principal or your teacher, who I know both of them well, to send me an email, be like, "Hey, I just want you to know Roman said this at school."
Yeah.
But so
What's home life like?
yeah, it's like, what kind of example are you being for
Yeah.
your 8-year-old? But so we come inside. He's losing his mind. He's freaking out. I'm like, what is your deal, bro? He's like, "I'm in trouble." It's like, "No, you're not." I said, "If you don't quit crying because you think you're in trouble, you're gonna get in trouble. But
Like,
right now, you're not." So my wife gets home, and I said, "Hey," and he was still freaking out. I was like, "I just want you to know, he's a mess." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Well," and she looks at me. She goes, "That's you. You caused that.
it's your
Like, I want you to
fault.
know." It's like he said that because he's heard you. I'm like, "I'm aware. Like, we don't have to indict my parenting and my what I say." Okay. I completely forgot why I brought that up.
Parenting. We're all flawed.
That's what we were talking about. You're talking about this
We are all
generation of parenting as
flawed,
soccer.
but
My
everybody.
ADHD just kicked in so hard there. I'm
That's
sorry.
yeah. I feel that. Uh was very. I grew up in the '90s and early
Yep.
2000s,
Yep.
and I was diagnosed with ADHD
Did they
very
put you on
young.
Ritalin?
They did put me on Ritalin, and I went to weekly, uh, like neurotherapy, they called it, and they would put this thing on my head and like put electrodes to try to make my frontal lobe develop more, because that's like part of the thing with ADD, and like make the right brain and left brain more
What?
even. And I did it for like, my mom had us in it for like 2 years. Like they were trying to do all the experimental stuff to try to make me and my sister, like we're both ADHD dyslexic, and she has it even more than I
Mhm.
do. I think as an adult we're probably pretty even now,
Yeah.
but we were definitely like little lab rats growing up, like them trying to
Okay.
like make us, whatever.
Thank God my parents never had me. Like, because I don't feel like I was as bad at like younger kid. I think the older I've gotten, the worse it's
That yeah.
gotten. And I have told this story on this podcast before, and you know what? I'm gonna keep telling because I don't care. When my wife and I started dating, my mother was like, "You need to be on Ritalin." I looked at her once. I said, "I'm never going on damn Ritalin.
That yeah.
I'm 25 now. I just want you to know I'm never taking medicine. Like, if you
Yeah.
don't like me and you can't handle the fact that in 4 seconds we can have 12 conversations, I'm sorry, I'm not for you."
That's yeah, it's actually a skill.
It 100% is. It 100%.
Yeah.
My wife and I were actually talking about this yesterday, and she was like, "Yeah, like the thing about you," she's like, "a stimulant chills you out." I was like, "What are you trying to say about me?"
Yeah.
I took great offense to that. She goes, "Well, like coffee mellows you out." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
It evens. That's
She's
exactly what, like, when you actually need Adderall
well,
versus
yeah.
the people that take it just to lose a few
Well,
pounds
that's just
or
like I looked at
stay
her. I
up
was
all
like, "Are
night.
you trying to tell me you want me to go on?" Which I guess now it's not Ritalin anymore. I guess it's
It's
Adderall.
Adderall now,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like, "Are you trying to tell me that like you want me?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "Good, because I'm not." Like
Yeah,
I'm like I'm in my 30s. I'm not taking meds for
yeah,
it. So, but anyways, yeah, my ADHD kicked in again.
you know?
Sh-
I'm right
Just
there
where we
with
are.
you.
Okay, you said something a few minutes ago that I found very interesting, and I wanted to ask you about because I want to get into your current music and where you are in Nashville. But you talk about how much you were able to learn when you were in LA about, being the leader of a band because you're a solo artist,
Yeah.
but you have a band that plays with you. Do you still have one here in Nashville, or is it more like just the house band wherever you're playing at, or
I
what's that look
definitely
like?
have a band.
Okay.
My band is all in other bands as well,
Yeah.
so there'll be subs here and there.
Mhm.
But I do have a band that I, like, love playing with.
Mhm.
Uh I've lost a few members to moving,
Sure.
and so then, like, replacing those, and right now I'm probably in, like, the growing pains part of that because I had, like, the same guitar player for 7 years, and he moved to Vegas 2 years ago, and then just in, October, my bass player left,
Mhm.
so right now I'm, like, filling those, in
Mhm.
as I go and trying to figure out who's the permanent members of that, but my
Mhm.
drummer's been with me now since 2019, and
Dang.
I kinda, like, go to him to bounce off, like, any ideas of
That's
just,
sick.
like, "How do you feel about this player? How do you feel about this show? How do you
Mhm.
feel about this thing?" And
Mhm.
so, I still try to make it a band because I grew up playing in
That's
bands,
what I was gonna
and
ask, like,
so
what's that dynamic like for you to? Because it is different between, like, there's a five-member band versus there's a solo artist with the band. So ho what did you learn early on in your career when you're in LA, when you're in bands, you're also a solo artist with a band that has carried over now of how you feel like you can effectively lead a team of people that is part of your team, but is not front and center like you are?
I still just try to treat it like a band. Everybody gets a
Mhm.
say. I have veto power because it
Sure.
is my name.
Yep.
But, like, I want everyone to feel like they're part of the band, like,
Mhm.
that they have an opinion, and if they don't like something, they don't have to just take it,
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't have to just, like or, like, "Hey, I really don't think that that sounds good right there." "Okay, well, show me something that you like," and,
Yep.
sometimes it's like, "Oh, yeah, that is better,"
Yeah.
So I trust my band with, their own opinions,
Are
and
How much are they involved, if at all, with writing, producing, recording?
nothing with that. With
Okay.
the live show a little bit, but, that is one thing I truly miss about having a band in LA was getting together, practicing once a week, writing together and all that stuff, and I I know this is true with a lot of artists, like, we don't really practice until there's, like, a show to come up, so there's no, like, really opportunity to be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, let's have a half an hour jam before we start actually practicing the set."
Yeah.
I will say the guitar player that, actually 2 of the guitar players I've had here, but one in particular that was my guitar player for 6 years that moved to Vegas, he and I would write about twice a month, like,
Okay.
just get together and, like, write with acoustic guitars and
Yeah.
whatever, and on my Angela EP, I cut one of the songs we wrote together, and he's actually cut, like, 6 of the songs that we've written together,
No way.
and so that was that formation of the band,
Mhm.
we did a little bit more, creative work together,
Okay.
but,
That's cool.
yeah, now it's just more like, "Hey, how do you feel about, like,
Mhm.
the members and stuff like that?" But I just don't want anyone to feel like I'm the dictator of the
Yeah.
band. I want everyone to
Yeah.
feel like they have a
What
say.
and I again, I'm not a musician, but I do feel like that is something that can easily become a sentiment, even if it's not reality, can become someone's reality or sentiment of people is like, it's just her thing and she just does what she wants and I'm
Yeah.
just here and I just show up and it's a gig. So, do you, when it comes to that side, what do you intentionally do aside from the involving people's opinions, if anything, to where the band that you have that you play shows with, it's not just a gig, but it's like something that is like they're a part of something so that as you grow, they're a part of the growth process.
I don't know if there's anything in particular I do. I would say, genuinely friends with everybody that I play with. And
Mhm.
so I think when you're friends with them, it's like a mutual respect that you have for each other
Mhm.
because there's more to lose than just a gig.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
like if this person doesn't feel respected or whatever, then I'm losing a friend.
Yep.
And like that's worse than losing a band member because like
Absolutely.
I've had band members like just be like, "Hey, I'm overwhelmed and I'm burnt out right now," and like leave a band, but then we're still friends. Like
Yep.
6 months later, it's still like we can go out and grab a drink and like whatever. It's just like, "Hey,
Absolutely.
I'm too busy right now to like put my time in it." Or like one of my drummers was literally like having like midlife crisis and moved to another state, and it was just like, "Hey, I respect your decision, and like I'm not gonna take it personal. Like we were
Yeah.
still friends, and
Yeah. That's
still,
cool.
yeah." And so I just think we get into music for the love of being in a band, and so many people
Mhm.
then just make it a business, and it is a business for
Yeah.
me, especially. Like I don't have a backup plan. I don't have anything else I'm ever gonna do. But like you don't want to lose the spark of like I get to play music
Yeah.
with my friends and travel the world doing it. Like
Yeah.
that is, and usually get drunk at the same time. It's like
Yeah.
I have the best job in the world. I get to have fun for a living. And like, yes, it is
Oh, yeah.
also totally work. Like there is so much work that goes, especially like I'm pretty much a one-man shop. Like I do all of the things. I design every cover. I write the songs. I coordinate with gigs and do all of that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But it is still at the end of the day, I'm doing all that hard work because my job is fun.
Yeah, it how do you stay in love with, like with music? You've been doing this for a couple decades, like, from st originally starting to play guitar as a kid to now being at this stage. How have you not lost the love to where and, like, if you have, what's brought you back?
I have never it's the one thing that, like, in my worst day, it's like, uh, on, like, the weekend that my ex that people have heard in tons of the interviews with me, but, like, he broke up with me 3 times in, like, a 6-year span, and the
Jeez.
first time that he broke up with me was the day that my grandpa died, and then my dog died a couple weeks later, and the thing that, like, was my escape was,
Mhm,
like, I was crying all the time, but, like, when you step on stage,
mhm.
you turn that off, and the thing is, like, even if you, because when I got the text that my mom tried not to tell me through
Yeah,
the weekend, so my boyfriend didn't know he dumped me on the day that my grandpa died. My mom hadn't said it yet
okay.
because it was on a Friday
Mhm,
or Thursday, and my mom wanted me to get through the gigs, and
yeah.
my
Excuse me.
sister put in a group chat, "Hey, have you guys talked to mom with me and my sister?" And I knew that minute that that's what happened, and I had just gone through the breakup on that Thursday, and it was Sunday morning, and I ran outside and threw up from my gig, and my guys, like, knew that there was something wrong because like,
Yeah,
I hadn't drank that weekend, there was nothing, like, whatever,
mhm.
but, like, I was just like, "Hey, you guys gotta take this song, like, I'm gonna go, and I'll be back,"
So were
and
you on stage when you got that text?
yes, and it, like, popped my phone was
Golly.
like I was on my microphone at my
Yeah.
cover gigs, and I just see the text, and I knew my grandpa was in hospice, so I knew what the text was gonna be,
Mhm.
and I just had that, like, gut feeling of just, like, and I was already so upset from the weekend, like,
Mhm.
that,
Oh, yeah.
that I was going through something that I thought I was gonna marry that man and
Mhm.
just got, like, kinda dumped out of nowhere, and then to get that text and know exactly what it was, I just after I'd kept it together the whole weekend, that
Yeah.
from, like, my Friday, Saturday, Sunday gigs, that Sunday, about halfway through, I got that text and ran outside. I cried for a second, came back in, and put on the show, and I didn't have to deal with it for that other, like, 2 hours, It's
Yeah.
like you're not allowed to feel while you're up there. You only have to pay attention to
Mhm.
the 4 dudes on stage and the people in front of you.
Mhm.
And so for me, I think the reason I'm never gonna fall out of love with it is my escape. And so
Yeah.
my passion is my job. And,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
something I've always had passion for.
So, do you think that music being your escape ties back to the fact that it started as your escape as a kid?
I never thought about it, honestly. Maybe.
As you're talking about it and you say, like, you've never lost a love for it because it's been essentially the constant there,
Yeah.
through losing your grandfather, losing the guy you think you're gonna spend your life with, then losing your dog, all those things at the time, and you talk about music's a constant. I'm thinking about, you said that as a 5-year-old, your parents go through a divorce and your mom encouraged you to pick up a guitar and find a voice through that. And so I just was wondering, like,
Yeah,
if
maybe that's it. I mean, I've known music was the only like thing for me. Like my first visible tattoo was my guitar on my ring finger because I'm married to music. And so it's just like
yeah,
I don't think I'll ever lose that spark for it. Like even when music doesn't love me back, I still love it.
100%. So like, is it because of that piece of the constant of the love that's like also because like the reality of being in Nashville, making it as a country artist is very hard.
Yes.
I mean, and I don't know the stat. I'm sure there is. It's like what percentage of artists. Now, granted, I, sometimes I see stuff on TikTok or Instagram of these people trying to make music, and I mean no disrespect,
Yeah.
but I want to know who's telling them yes.
I know. I mean,
You know?
everyone has a phone now and they're allowed to post whatever they want. So if they feel good about it, good for
It's like
them. More power to them.
doing this is like like I have people closer to me. It's like if I have an interview that's bad, they're gonna tell me it's bad and be like, dude, you were awful. Like you need to be better.
Yeah, my sister is great about that. She makes sure that I have an honest opinion in my corner. So
Is
like,
she tactful about it or is she just
oh
direct?
hell no. My mom is a very straightforward. I'll just say it like she's a bitch. She's a sweetheart and like an angel.
Yeah.
But she can tell you how to fix your life in 2 seconds, but will not take any criticism from anybody.
Sure.
And so me and my sister try to be, because we grew up with that, like try to be able to take criticism because we're like, all right, we learned how to dish it out from our mom. Like she was the mom that was like, she was very much a stage mom growing up of just like, oh no, you look fat in that. Like you cannot wear that to the, whatever. And you got to get a thick skin real quick. And so me and my sister, like if it's like, oh, what do you think of this new song? Like she's gonna be like there was a song I really, really loved that I had written in the same time of the 2 weeks of the songs that I put out on the EP, and it was my favorite one. And she was like, oh my God, this is my favorite verses. She's like, but that chorus is horrible. So save that song and rewrite the chorus. And so it kind of like helped me make that decision of like, okay, and she's not in music at all. But
you whatever you do in life, you have to have someone like that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like because I watch people, like no one big, but like I've watched people release music, and I want to look at them and go, who told you to do that? like you can write something for yourself that never sees the light of day, and it doesn't mean that it's like if I was an artist and there was a song that I was really passionate about, but it sucked, I would want someone to tell me,
absolutely. I mean,
don't do it.
I think that's why Nashville in particular is a 10-year town.
Yeah.
Because you grow up in your hometown.
Yep.
Where all your friends from high school and your parents are telling you the best thing, and you might actually be the best thing in that town. And then you come to Nashville and I thought I knew how to put on a show when I moved to Nashville. I was like killing it in LA, doing the thing. And that's LA, whatever.
Well, right.
It's like I'd done the thing. I had, and then I moved to Nashville and started playing 4-hour gigs 5 days a week. And within a year was 10 times better.
Yep.
And my band was so tight. And and it was just like, oh, just in this year, I've learned so much. And then to go from the 1 year to the 5-year mark was just like, the music that I was putting out in the beginning is nothing like what I was able to do later. And it just makes you better. But a lot of people refuse to grow. And so they just spend 2 years in Nashville and move back home because they're like, everyone's better than me. And like, whatever, but no one's ever told them that. And so it's their rude awakening of just like, oh, I still have some work to do. But you can do that work in Nashville.
And it doesn't mean that you can't be great at it. Like if you are
Look at Ella Langley.
God.
Look at Ella Langley. That is the most glaring example of, okay, she moved here and she was good.
Yep.
And she was cute. And in a 5-year span, now she is amazing and beautiful.
Unbelievable.
And like just turned from like caterpillar to butterfly and used people's input. I'm sure she had a vocal coach say, hey, this register, maybe not so much. this register with a little vocal fry, you'll slay, you know? And so it's just like being open to constructive criticism is so important. And I think that only makes you better.
100%.
And so like a lot of people just have yes people in their life and nobody's saying like, yes, but.
Oh, absolutely. And because Ella Langley's, I think, a great example. Like
Post Malone.
I mean, I honestly, maybe one of the few that you probably could say that wasn't the case was, like, very few is Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And even, but it's like, he still has gotten better as he's gotten older.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's one of the few, it's like, the kid was 13 years old and was a superstar.
Yeah. I mean, Leanne Rimes.
Yeah, like, it's, there are exceptions,
yeah.
but I think even those people who started out, like, from the jump as just unbelievable, still became better the longer they did it and still grew and had people in the corner. Ella Langley's new album, though.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
unbelievable. And if you saw that music video from 2020 or whatever, you would not even think it's the same artist. And so I think people just, you can't be stuck saying like, I am a star. You know, you have to be like, okay, maybe if
you
I
can
take these steps, I can be that. And Nashville really, it can break you, or it can make you, or it can break you.
Yeah.
It can, you know, you can learn or you can go home.
What do you think, you know, on this topic of like growth, and you've been in Nashville for 10 years now, what do you think is the piece for you that you've grown the most in to make you a better artist that has positioned you for the next level of success?
So I think everybody has a different journey, as we kind of talked about a little bit before. And some people come to Nashville and it happens for them right away. And it's just like, that is, you know, they get the thing, they play the round, somebody sees them, and it's just like, you're a star.
Some of it is so much luck.
It's all luck. I mean, it's luck and opportunity, timing, all the thing, and plus a little bit of talent.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't even need that. It's just, you know, it's just everyone's journey. But for me, I needed the life experience. I needed to figure out who I was as a person. And I think moving from California, I at that time was in a 7-year relationship, and I had to move across the country just to end it. And figure out who I was as a human and experience heartbreak and experience what it was to tour, what it was. Cause like I did little tours when I lived in California. The Toby Keiths were out there. And so I would go around and play all the different Toby Keiths and all that kind of stuff. But like just in the last 5 years, I've grown more as an artist than in the last 20. And so it's just getting to a level of, okay, here's how this really is, and not just what you see on TV, you know?
What was the first moment for you, whether it was in LA or when it was after you moved to Nashville, where you realized that it was like a glimmer of hope in a sense of like, oh, like I can actually do this and like it can be a career?
I mean, I've had 3 deals since I was a kid. So there was a lot of opportunity, or a lot of not opportunity. There were opportunities, but they fell through.
Sure.
There was a lot of times where it was like, oh, I can see the top of the mountain, and then you fall all the way back down. And okay, I climbed back up halfway and then fell back down. And then, you know, and I've always known that this is the only option for me. I'm not structured enough to do anything else.
No, I respect that. I just, you speaking of ADHD, I told one of my closest friends the other day, I was like, I can't do office jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I technically have an office job that I don't have to go to an office to do. And he was like, yeah, he's like, your brain.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't do it. I'm like, no. It's like, I just don't like, I just said, I've had office jobs where I had to be in an office, and I'm like, I lose my mind.
Yeah.
I lose my, but I do think though, it's like on your, like what you said, and you've said it multiple times, it's like, you have no plan B.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the ship I'm sailing on, and I'm going to go down with the ship if it goes down.
Yep.
I truly feel that there is something, I think, very powerful about that, of too many people get on the ship and cut all the cords but one. And they never get anywhere because they're unwilling to, because their security with the one, you know, rope that's still tied.
Yeah.
And the second you cut that, the ocean becomes available, but you also don't have the security. And I think there's so many people in life who never actually see any level of success because they're unwilling to leave security.
If you're putting energy into something that isn't what your goal is, then you're always going to be a little bit distracted by that. And even if that's what's paying the bills, like
100%.
it's not going to make you work harder to pay. Like if I lose all my gigs tomorrow, I have to figure out how to pay my rent. And that is, I'm going to figure it out. Even if I go out on the street of Broadway and go open my guitar case
100%.
and play some songs,
somehow
I'm paying my bills. And like it, and it will be with music. It will not be with, I'm not going back to a Chili's. I am not going to go into.
But hold on.
Yeah.
The advantage of going back to a Chili's, probably
50% off at all the Chili's.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you got a little card when you worked there that you could bring to all any Chili's, and they at that time owned. I don't know if this is still a thing because I haven't worked there in a long time.
For sure.
They owned On the Border, Maggiano's, and something else.
There was another one that the group owned. I don't know.
Yeah, my brain is spacing on what the other one was.
But you're right.
But yeah, and you could use it at any of them. So like Maggiano's, when I was at that age, I could not afford to go to Maggiano's, but they had 50% off and they had their buy one, take one. Yeah. So you're getting 4 meals for the price of half of one.
Do you remember when Chili's had started their lunch special? And it was like 2 for $20?
Yep.
And it was an appetizer, 2 entrees, and a dessert.
Yes.
For $20.
Yes.
Now it's like $65.
I know. I'm like, what is this? And you used to be able to add a Presidente margarita for $5.
Yeah. And they had the best chicken bacon ranch quesadilla I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
But no, sorry, my ADHD.
We're gonna get a chili sponsorship based on this podcast.
I hope.
At least a triple dipper.
Hey, listen.
Chili heads for life.
I'm serious. Chili's, if you sponsor this podcast, I would gladly be. Chili's can become my presenting sponsor. I don't give a flip. I'll just
Chili's
keep.
Will become my personality.
You know what? That might be the thing. I might start doing with every guest I have on. I'm gonna have skillet queso. We're gonna sit here and it's gonna be rapid fire questions over skillet queso. I'm gonna come up with a name with it.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay. But no, you're right though. It's like there is such a piece of like, are you willing to do it and never get paid to do it?
Yeah.
Is a big piece. And then are you willing to sacrifice to find a way to make it work? Because what are you, like, you can have 19 irons in the fire. I've got a lot of irons in the fire. But it's like, there's one thing that I'm overly passionate about, and it gets 90% of my time because that's the thing that I want to grow, that I care about the most. And I mean, I also, though, have a wife and 2 kids. So, like, I can't just be like, see your money and just, but all that to be said is like, I love it enough to not get paid for it right now because I know that's like, if I want to do it
long term, you
have to be willing to sacrifice. So it's like to think back to your days in LA of where you're playing free gigs. You've got a band playing for free with you just to have a band. But I also think it comes back to, you've said this as well, the love, like that inherent love of what you do. My take on this, if you don't genuinely love it, and if you're not willing to do it for free, don't do it.
Yeah, and I think it's
whatever it is.
I mean, you said the thing about like you have a wife and kids to support, and I think that my passion for it is so strong that it's like I only have to support myself, and I would feel guilty if I had another person. So it might have been the detriment of some of my relationships of just like, this is my priority and I like you and you're important, but it's always going to go music, then relationships.
When especially like, I think at this stage as well, where you're still in the, I don't mean this is, if this comes across disrespect, I'm sorry, but like in that building stages of it, you're not touring arenas. And I don't mean that. I hope that doesn't.
No, you're so good.
I just like, I started saying, it's like, that sounds like a little hateful. And I don't mean to, but it's easy though, I think, when you're building the way you are and you're building to that consistency of the tours and the deals and all of that stuff that comes, it is easy to where it's like, this is the thing. This is my baby, whether you like it or not. Like, either I hope you support me in that, but if not, like, this isn't for
Yeah.
you.
It's the thing that relationship after relationship, it's the thing they fall in love with is the passion.
Mhm.
And then they get jealous of the energy that I put into it. And it's like my last ex, there was a few times where he was like, when do I become the priority? And it's just like, I
Yeah.
can't tell you confidently ever.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that I could,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I'll ever change the hierarchy. Like,
Mhm.
my music is the constant. It is
Mhm.
the thing that's gotten me through everything. And
Mhm.
so I don't know if, that will ever be a thing. And I don't know if I want it like that. My
Mhm.
music will be there for me after everything.
Yeah.
And people aren't always that reliable.
Well, unfortunately, that's the sad reality
It
at
is
times.
a very,
But
yeah.
it's like though, at the same point in time, is the beauty of human relationship is that although people let you down, like, then you have the option and the ability to love them through it.
Yeah.
And you but that's a whole other
Yeah.
topic. So I know we got to wrap soon because you've got a gig tonight, but I want to talk for a second about this your most recent project. We've talked about it a little bit. It was born out of that time of your life where you lose your grandfather, you lose your boyfriend for the first time of 3 times. I didn't
It was
realize
actually
that.
written after the second time. But yeah, it had been,
Okay.
so we broke up first in July of 2024,
Mm-hmm.
got back together September
Mm-hmm.
of that year. He then dumped me in June of 2025. And this was all written in July.
Of 2025?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then we got back together that September or October. We started
Okay.
talking in September, got back together in October. And then he left me again 2 weeks before the EP came out, which the EP is called 2
Okay.
Weeks, which is crazy.
I didn't realize that it was like the name was the same. I knew the name of it. I didn't
It
realize
wasn't
the
named
name.
because of that.
Yeah, but it is wild. Like,
It is, yeah, it was
that's
named because it
okay.
was written in 2 weeks. And then he broke up with me exactly 2 weeks before it came out.
Let me ask you this. What made you keep going back?
He promised that it was going to be different. He promised that he would actually marry me. And I do. I mean, now it's only been 5 weeks. But I love him and he checked all the boxes. And
Yeah.
now I actually had a moment where I started, and this was last week, one of my girlfriends said that they saw him on the apps the day that he broke up with me. And I started going through some of the things that he did in the past that were a little bit, I always put him on a pedestal because I was like, he's such a good guy. And now there's things that I'm like, was he? Like, I had a person reach out to me that I had never done anything with at the time we were back together, that I had met when I was single. But I'd never even made out with the guy. I met him at a festival and he got my phone number or whatever.
Yeah.
And told me he was coming to Nashville. And I politely texted back, hey, I'm seeing someone right now. And my ex was the kind of person that goes through your phone and was like, you need to block that person. I'm like, I told them the thing. And then a week later it came out he was still following all the girls that he dated in between when we were broken up. And I'm like, wait, that's a super double standard. I actually put boundaries up and you are the one still following bitches on Instagram.
I have a hot take. And as people aren't going to like this. If you feel the need, and I mean no disrespect, if you feel the need to go through your significant
other,
really couldn't get to significant. That's not a hard word to say.
It's the ADD. It's stopping you from.
Yeah. But if you feel the need to go through your significant other's phone, there's 2 things. 1, work on yourself. And 2, you probably shouldn't be in a relationship. Respectfully. And for sure not with that person.
Yeah. And I just put it as like I have nothing to hide. Go for it, And I validated every super toxic thing. I like the sharing locations thing.
Sure.
That thing I do like.
Yeah,
and
my wife has my location. I mean, but also we've been married 11 years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like 6 of my friends have my location.
Yeah, for sure.
And like
that is a big thing that girls do now.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I feel like every female I know had like 20 girls have their location.
My band has my location.
Yeah. Well,
but like when my friend left her phone in the Uber on Broadway, I had her location so I could see where the phone was.
She doesn't even live here.
She lives in England, and we have each other's location. But like, I do love, and it's also like, hey, if they're picking me up from the airport, I can be like, oh, I can see when to go outside, and like, whatever. And I do like the location thing.
Oh, for sure. I don't hate it.
But going through each other's phones.
So my wife made a comment. We were talking about this recently, and she's like, listen, we've been married 11 years. We've been together for 13-ish, something like that. And she's like, I'm not going to go through your phone. She's like, and partly because if I'm going looking, I'm going to find something.
Well, you can make something out of anything.
Right. She's
like I said,
if I am looking with the intent to try to catch you in something, I'm going to catch you in something. And what good does that do?
Yes.
Whether you're doing anything right or wrong or not. It's like, what? Yeah. So I just listen, this is PSA for everyone in relationships. If you're going through phones,
there might be a
problem. You probably should just say, that sounds so hateful. And you know what? Maybe it is. And I don't feel bad for saying it.
Yeah.
I just can't get behind it. I just
when I was in my 20s and I was in that 7-year relationship, I did go through my ex's phone, and I did find out that he was sleeping with his boss for the whole relationship. And yeah.
There's that.
So I do think there's something to be said about female intuition.
But that's so different. Like my wife has that. Like legit, she will be like, all my friends now that are single, and I don't have a lot of friends that are single anymore. All of them go, they're like, what do you think? I'm like, ask Tori, don't ask me.
That's
because like if you want to know, like
we're just more sensitive.
But
and we pick up on auras and all the woo-woo shit.
Woo-woo shit. I think you mean woo girls, and we tried it never.
Different woo.
You know what I think the origination of woo girls was? How I Met Your Mother. Did you ever watch that show?
I did watch that show, but I don't know what you're referring to.
I can't remember what episode it was. I've watched it.
Had to be something with Barney.
Times. Yeah. But there was like, I think it was like, there's a whole thing in it where they like talk about woo girls. And there's like, a group of them come in, like a bachelorette comes into the bar and they're like, free shots.
Yes, like, that's all Broadway though.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it originated with that show. And maybe I'm wrong and it was way before that. But in my brain, it originated with, because I also think How I Met Your Mother is a better sitcom than Friends.
I mean,
I really do.
But then The Office trumps all of them.
I never got into The Office. Like everyone thinks that they're like, it's your type of humor. And I'm like, I can't get past the first season. I've watched it and I do find it funny, but I was not a Office stan.
See this?
I'm still not.
I'm more of a HBO Showtime kind of girly than a sitcom. We were talking about Righteous Gemstones is my favorite show, but I've seen like True Blood 3 times. I've seen Dexter twice. I like the more spicy shows.
I love like Sopranos. It's in my top 5.
Yeah.
You know, and West Wing. Did you ever watch West Wing?
I never did. My band is watching it all right now, and
I love that show.
I am obsessed with politics, and so
I'm not.
My friends are like, "You would love it so much. You have to watch it."
I just can't do. But I do find it interesting watching that show how much our country has changed. And this is I'm not getting into politics, but how much our country has changed in the approach of that entire sphere. So that show started in '99, I think, late '90s, and how much has changed in 20 years.
Because now politics is a TV show.
You said it, not me. Did you ever watch Billions? It's a Showtime show. God, Billions, The Wire.
I did see The Wire.
Because I love a drama like that. Like
Wire was good because it was just like action. Go.
It's The Sopranos is.
But now I don't even have a TV in my apartment, so I can't watch anything. I like if people are at my house, them to be talking to each other.
Yeah, no, so we have a formal living room in our house for that sole reason. Like, now granted, down here there's not a TV set up in the basement, but there normally is because this is where we watch sports.
Yeah.
But so
the man cave.
100%. My wife comes down here like once a month. She's like, I'm like, we have a basement. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree with you though. I want to get back, and we're gonna get back on topic, but. There's a beautiful piece. Like, there's 2 things I love. I love, because like I watch TV all the time, but I love music in the background all the time. I adore having old music playing, and I love like a room where I love people being able to be in an environment that encourages conversation.
Yes.
Like
I love it.
Like, one of my favorite things to do, and some people hate it. I love to go to dinner with my friends and sit there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And just talk.
I love that.
I Love it.
I have very strong friendships and I'm so thankful
Mhm.
for my friends. But like, I do think that the most beautiful thing, and like I toured the world. I've played in 13 countries now. After this
Dang.
year, it'll be 14. And no, it'll be 15 after this year. Yay. But
That's
I
wild.
love meeting people and talking to people and sharing
Mhm.
experiences. And I think if you're not doing that,
Mhm.
like you're dead. That's
Mhm.
why like I think depression is so rampant in our society.
Yeah.
And because people don't get out and experience true human connection, we're stuck to a screen. And I'm guilty of it. I
Oh,
don't have a
listen,
TV. That
I
does not mean I
love
don't
doom
doom
scrolling.
scroll for 8 hours a day.
God,
But I
I
feel
love doom
drained
scrolling.
after
It's
that.
bad. Yeah,
And I
for sure.
feel refreshed
After you're with
even
people.
after going out till 2 in the morning and
Yeah.
like whatever. I feel refreshed like from just experiencing humans. And I think
Yep.
humans are great
I
for
doom
how horrible
scroll
they are. They're
so
great.
bad. Last night I got home from being out with some friends, and I was scrolling and came across this video. It was like a 5-part video of this guy giving his parents $100,000. I don't know anything about this guy. It just was like, and like late at night, my entire algorithm is just stuff that makes me cry. It's either like
That's
something about
yeah.
your 6-month-old baby, and I'm sitting there bawling while I'm
The
watching.
algorithm knows
Yeah.
how to get you. It's got me right now
100%. Yeah.
hard.
So I
Yeah.
start watching this video, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna set my phone down. I'm gonna listen to these parts, and I'll turn the show and go to sleep. I literally woke up 3 hours later and my phone was still playing the same
The-
video. And I was like, my my Instagram says I've been on the app for like 4.5 hours today already. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
That's
Anyways, that is, but no, you are very accurate in that I think as humans, we were designed and created to be in relationship with other humans and be engaged in life together. And it's like one of my closest friends, when he comes over, he almost always, unless something in life is going on, there's been very few times where he's been at my house on his phone. He'll set his phone down and leave it somewhere else and just talk.
Yeah, if I'm out to dinner, unless I have like a business call that I know I'm
Yep.
waiting on,
Yep.
like my phone does not come out of my purse or my pocket. Like it is
Yeah.
anything that happens in that 3 hours can wait
Can wait.
3 hours.
Like, dude, like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be sitting at
Yeah,
Bourbon Steak and pull out my phone to scroll Instagram.
exactly. I
Like,
mean, even if I'm at Red Door with my friends, like it doesn't matter. It's
yeah,
not
that's one of the greatest things
like
about being with your friends in those environments is like you'll have your phone sitting up. It's like you're not gonna just sit there and scroll.
no one has to worry about me drunk texting them because I forget my phone exists when I'm drunk. It's like
I respect that.
I
respect that.
am so and like by the time I've had those conversations that
Mhm.
are so like stimulating and
Yeah.
make you feel like okay, I'm actually experiencing life in the present. I don't have the need to go
Yeah.
get my validation from
100%.
some random person
You're
off
not
of
looking to see
Hinge
how many
or
people
like
liked
whatever,
yeah, you're not
know.
looking to see how many people liked your last reel.
Yes.
Like, nothing is more demoralizing than, like, you post something great and you're like, "Oh, I got 6 likes. Dope."
Oh, I don't even pretend to know the
I
algorithm. Like
I know.
yeah, TikTok, I'll have months where every single video pops off, and then I'll have
Yep.
like the last 3 months, I have nothing. Like my highest video is like 30,000, and I have videos that are in the millions, and it's like, how? What is
Yeah.
the
I'm
difference?
not
Like
changing
they're the
anything.
same
Mhm.
videos.
Mhm.
They're lip sync videos or like
Yep.
talking head videos. I don't know. I don't
It's
pretend to know.
no. And I feel like the algorithm literally changes within the minute.
They
Like, legit.
they say it changes every 6 months,
I don't believe that. I think it
so
changes more frequently than that. Whether they
I
want
wouldn't
to
put it past them.
Yeah, I think because anyways, I digress. All right, so let's get back to your EP,
Yes.
and we're gonna finish with this.
Okay.
Okay, so you wrote 2 weeks
Yes.
to right after your boyfriend broke up with you for the 3rd time.
The second time.
Second time. So that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Right before and then he broke up with you the 3rd time 2 weeks before the EP comes out.
Yes.
What was the motivation behind this EP?
I hadn't put out a project in a while. I'd just been
Uh-huh.
doing the singles thing.
Okay.
And I felt like I just had so much material that I really wanted to say something. And
Mhm.
I don't think I knew what I was doing at the time.
Okay.
I literally I had all these songs and I was picking my songs to release this year because I put out a song pretty much every month.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I should do a body of work. Like, this
Okay.
should be, and I don't think at the time I knew how emotionally impactful it was going to be.
Mhm.
But with the breakup happening,
Yep.
these songs being all pretty much about my ex except for drunk. Um, I that song South that ends the EP,
Mhm.
I feel like truly brings that chapter of my life to a close. And I do
Yeah.
feel like I am ready to move on to the next chapter of my life. And that's not just romantically. Obviously, it was a really roller coaster of a emotional part of my life the last 6 years, but also musically.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like this felt like a good time to really step into my authenticity. And it's not that
Mhm.
anything I released is not. Like, the last 2 years especially, I've been putting out music I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But I truly, at this chapter, at 10 years in Nashville, at all of the things I've gone through in life, all the music I've released, I feel like I know who I am. And
Mhm.
I don't know if I've ever felt confident about that before.
Mhm.
And so, what this EP meant to me back in October when I decided to record it and what it means to me now are two completely different things.
Yeah.
In October, I just felt like I was overdue for a project,
Mhm.
and now I know why.
Yep.
I know that I needed to.
Isn't it wild how that works though?
It's sometimes you're making decisions and you don't even know why, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden at the end, they say hindsight's 2020.
Mhm.
You can look back and be like, oh, this is where this was coming from. And I knew when I got back with my ex this last time, even though he said right away, like when we got back together, he was like, hey, I think I want the job back of like being your boyfriend. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, and I want to get married before the end of the year. And I was like, what? And in the back of, and I said no.
Yeah.
And I think that no, I knew that it wasn't going to work out this last time.
Mhm.
And even though these songs were written before we were even talking again, we were like
Mhm.
no contact at the time. They still speak to this last chapter that
Mhm.
we had, which
Had you when you just made the decision to release an EP, had you already written any of these songs or
yeah, no,
okay,
these were all
so these
written
were already
within. It's called
okay.
2 weeks because they were written in 2 weeks
Okay.
in July.
Okay.
And they were just part of the body of work that
Mhm.
I had made some demos of
Mhm.
like 13 songs, and they were just part of the demos that I
Okay.
had made. And when I realized how many of them I'd written solo, I had like when I actually thought about it, I was like, oh, I could do just a solo project. And then like throughout the year, release some of the co-writes. So I
Mhm.
just went back in the studio last Wednesday and some of those co-writes that also were written in that 2 weeks. So there's
Yeah.
more to the story. There's a
Dang.
song I'm really excited. I actually listened to I only have the board mixes right now. I'm
Okay.
recording vocals next week. But there's a song that I wrote with Grace Tyler
Mhm.
in that time. And she had actually just a few months ago gone through almost the same thing with a 1 or 2 year relationship where he was
Dang.
talking about, engagement and all that stuff. And we were sitting in the right just doing I don't know how many of the audience is familiar with a co-write, but like the first hour is usually just shooting the shit and
Mhm.
catching up. And we were in our first hour of just like, how's your life?
Yeah.
Oh, how's your life? Like, oh, I just got dumped. And she's like, oh my God, me too. And it was just like, I think hers was a little further out from it, but mine was literally like a couple weeks before.
Yeah.
And we're talking about how it happened. And I was
Mhm.
like, I think I have the idea. I was like, what do you think of what do you even mean when you were talking about a ring? And that song I pretty much listened to the whole way up here because I just am like ready for the world to hear that
Yeah.
song because
When
it's
does that come
so
out? You know yet? Or is it just
I just recorded these 6 songs. My
okay.
next single is actually a really, really happy wedding song for mothers and daughters.
That's cool.
Like everyone gets a father-daughter dance, but nobody has like a mother-daughter song. And
Yeah.
so my next song was written like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I almost didn't release it because I'm not a mom. And so I thought, and I'm not getting
Yeah.
married anytime soon. So I didn't really think it
Yeah.
identified with my story. But I was just like, I've had this song recorded for like a year. I should just put it out. But these songs will be released probably within the year, but I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure yet. I haven't decided what the rollout looks like. And I got to decide
Well,
pretty
you've
quick,
piqued my
but
curiosity
yeah,
on
it's
the
going to
song with
be,
you and Grace. I just heard her name for the first time recently.
she's phenomenal.
I feel like Natalie, was she on that remix with Peach? That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, she's great.
She's
Great.
I've heard her a little bit.
And that
She's
was our
so
first write
talented.
ever.
No way.
We
So did you know her before you wrote together, or how did that come about?
we literally met at a writer's round at Duck Blind. And
Hell
I was
yeah.
like,
That's so sick.
you're really good. Would you write? I did the typical Nashville thing and it's
Yeah.
like, want to write?
That's so
And
sick.
it took us like 6 months to finally grab a date, and we did, and it's our only right, and I'm cutting the song, and so maybe we'll write some more in the future, but there's a few more songs that are going to be coming out that are from that chapter of, and a couple more solo writes.
And I feel like you've said this, but do you really see now at this stage, looking back, how much this project was closure, but as well as like healing
Yeah.
for you?
Oh,
That
yeah.
that you didn't really know you needed? Because like, I
Yes.
mean, again, do you think back, aside from the relationship that ended, but also losing your grandfather, and who was the male figure, the constant male figure in your whole life?
Yeah.
And we didn't get into a ton of that. So it's like, I know we don't. I mean, we could. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
there's
no.
we don't
That'll
need
be
to
another
again.
time. Well, maybe part 2.
Yeah, but looking back now, when did the project come out exactly? I know
The
I
end
know
of
this.
March.
Okay, so
So like it's been
when
like
we're recording this, like a month
a
ago.
month. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
So, but all of this kind of ensued, end of last year. So over the last 6 to 8 months, there is nothing in life like hindsight.
Oh yeah.
And where you get to the other side and you go like, if I had never gone through that, I would never be here.
When I decided to go give it one more shot with my ex, I went in eyes wide open and was like, even if this ends tragically, because I'm not crazy. And I know that if something doesn't work out the first time, it's probably not going to work out again.
Yeah.
But I was like, it feels good right now. And right now, I'm just going to let that be enough. And if I get my heart ripped out, I've done it twice with the same person. I can do it again.
Yeah. But isn't it interesting too? It's like in life and relationship, once the veil's been lifted on something, you can't see the same anymore.
I was still pretty devastated. But
Absolutely.
this last time that he left me in the middle of the night in Texas and literally flew home. And then I found out the thing about the dating apps. And so now I'm like, okay, combination of like, if you hate someone so much that you can't even be in the same state, and then just immediately goes right into finding a replacement, I have a totally different view of where before I was like, it's just that we're different people, which is also true.
Yeah.
But we're different people, and I had put him on a pedestal where I thought he was different than other men, and not that all men are the same, but it's just there's too many options out there, and he was just ready to move on, and I just told him, I know you're ready to move on, so
until a guy realizes that there will always be options, but
you have to be happy with the one you have. Yeah.
But you make a choice to love one person.
Yes.
You're never ready to settle down.
I love, and so I will.
Yeah.
I've always been in long-term relationships. I went from a 7-year relationship straight into a 4-year relationship, straight into a 6-year relationship. And I love. And I want to tell myself like this time, like, just stay single for a year and figure out who you are. But I don't think I need to be by myself to figure out who I am. So like, I'm not actively pursuing like I should jump into another relationship. But I'm also just like, if it happens, it happens. Because I love love.
So I'm shooting every male that listens to this that's single. Sheyna's single. So if you're mature,
that's yes.
I feel like that's a big thing.
Well, and
if
also,
if you realize that you're ready to have a partner,
the thing that's hard,
send Deepish a DM, and we're gonna filter through all of them.
Yes. Oh, let's do it. Let's do a little dating game.
Honestly,
the thing is they have to be okay with a lot of traveling because I travel for work about 3 months a year. But
so if you work remote and you can travel,
hey, I need a sidekick.
That's better.
That's even better. Yeah, I don't need to leave them at home. They can come with me.
See, this is the thing.
That's
the thing. This is gonna become we're gonna do a new dating with Sheyna segment.
Yes, for the U.S. states, I have a buddy pass because I have Southwest status, so they can even fly for free. It's just
it's a bonus if you have TSA pre-check.
But yes, must have pre-check. And travel light. I don't do checked bags.
No.
I'm a carry-on or a backpack girly.
The only thing I would check would be golf clubs.
Well, yeah,
but that's a whole other. That's a whole other. I mean, because you don't have to check your guitar, right?
No, I carry it on my back. Yeah, unless it's those tiny planes and they gate check it. So
which is perfect.
That's fine. Yeah. They just throw it on top.
If you're rich and have a private jet,
even better.
Even better.
I'll take that.
Well, Sheyna, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so much fun. It's an
Thank you so
honor to
much for
have you on.
having me.
Make sure to go stream her new EP, 2 Weeks. It came out almost a month ago.
Yeah.
And then new music's coming soon as well.
The
That's one
next
of my favorite things about interviewing artists on this is they always are doing something.
Yes, always.
It's the best. Like, it's just like it's just constant evolvement of your career and your journey. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode with my friend Sheyna Gee. Just really, I, I always feel I love every episode because every episode ends up going somewhere that I don't know that I expect it to. And, I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain, so to say. I kind of give every guest, especially ones that I don't know. Sheyna, this is the first time I'd met her, having her on, and have had several of these so far of guests that I've had on that I did not previously know, and even the people that I do know, I tell them the same thing: be you. Don't try to, you know, perform in any capacity. Especially, a lot of the people that I've had on are a performer of some capacity, and I tell them all, like, just be you. If you say something you don't want to be said on here, I'm gonna cut it. I don't, I'm not trying to what I would call get people. I'm just not trying to do that. I don't want you to put you in a vulnerable. Wow, I really couldn't say that. Vulnerable position. I just want you to be you, and let's capture a great episode that way. Um, and the other thing I tell everyone is I don't have much of a roadmap for where we're gonna go. I've got general ideas. If I know someone really well, it's a little easier in a sense, but also kind of harder as well because I just can know some things I want to get into, and even guess I don't know, generally know some things I want to get into. But all these episodes, I always finish them. I'm like, dang, we could have kept talking for forever, which is what I love, and I hope you enjoy that as well, because then I know that I feel like there's opportunity one to have people back on. I love being able to have a second opportunity to chat with someone. But I hope you enjoyed getting to learn more about Sheyna and her story and what has made her who she is and her career and where she is now. And I hope you were encouraged, challenged by it a little bit. So make sure to go check out her music, Sheyna Gee, anywhere that music streams. Go buy her EP album if you can find it to purchase, and support her as much as you can. As always, make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast ad, whether YouTube, subscribe there, Apple, Amazon, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review, and then follow us on all social media. Comment on all the ridiculous things that I might throw out there on our social media, Deep Dish Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, as well as you can find us on Facebook. Thank you all so much again for listening, and we will see you next week for our next episode.